Welcome to FinScale, a podcast created by Solène Niederkorn, shedding light on innovation in finance, banking, and insurance.
Convera, Tech Evolution and Ethics Mastery Unveiled. Patrick Gauthier, CEO of Convera.
Some of it was deliberate, pre-Convera was deliberate on the part of Western Union and drove a number of acquisitions that they did 15 years ago. Now with Convera, what we saw when we decided to pursue the acquisition, what we saw is deep know-how across the company, across the globe, understanding how to address on behalf of customers the complexity of those global payments.
Back to payments and Forex this week. Patrick delves deep into the intricate fabric of Convera, a dominant player in the payment industry. We kick off our conversation with a retrospective as Patrick provides a comprehensive overview of Western Union Business Solutions 2021 activities. He shares the motivations and strategic intricacies behind Goldfinch partner and BauPost Group's acquisition of WUBS. Shifting focus to the core of Convera, Patrick paints a vivid picture of the company's current positioning, its expansive geographical presence, the pillars of its value proposition, and the diverse suite of solutions it offers. The discussion becomes more insightful when we explore Convera's significant global footprint, which spans 200 countries, operates in 22, and deals with 140 currencies. Patrick touches on the company's strategies that have driven this global success and the tailored service catering to a broad spectrum of clientele from SMEs to NGOs. Naturally, we couldn't discuss Convera's growth and development without exploring the transformation project of this major player, particularly from a technological perspective, including its AWS cloud migration. This leads us into a discussion about regulatory strategy and the factors that prompted the American company to establish its European headquarters in Luxembourg. Additionally, we delved into the risk management approach, especially concerning hedging FX risks. Enjoy the show! Hello, everyone, and a special welcome to you, Patrick.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so thank you for joining FinScale. Today we'll discuss Convera and a little bit of Western Union, of course. It would be great if you could begin by introducing yourself to the audience.
Yeah, sure. So, Patrick Gauthier, I have been working on payment technologies, fintech, since before probably fintech was invented. I have spent time at Visa, at PayPal. Most recently, before coming to Convera, I built Amazon Pay at Amazon into a global business. I love payments. Sometimes payment can be seen as something very, very boring, moving money, not exciting. But the truth is, payment is the way people achieve their dreams. Whether the dreams is, people wanting to buy a house or go someplace, or whether it is wanting to build a business. And so I think we at Convera are in the business of helping our customers grow their business, be successful globally, do it with confidence. For almost 30 years now, it's excited me every morning. It continues to do so. I was born and raised in France, studied there, been in the US now for over 30 years. And I'm a builder at heart. I started coding when I was 10, roughly. Became an engineer and then suddenly realized that I could build products, but I could also build teams and build businesses. And that's what I love to do.
Perfect. So we'll talk about this today. So to be honest, I didn't know Convera because I realized that the name was changed quite recently. So I was amazed. I had somebody calling from your team and starting to discuss with me, and then I discovered that behind Convera there was a story with Western Union. So I digged into it. I made a sort of research, and I wanted that you share with us a little bit of the story, maybe not 75 years ago, but going back to maybe 2021 when Western Union Business Solution was acquired by two PE firms, two PE funds. So we understand where we are coming from.
Yeah. So Western Union Business Solution, quite successful business. One of the leader in its space, present globally with the broadest payment network and Forex network available on a non-bank basis. 2020, 2021, COVID, we all know, has kind of created a bunch of disruption, and certainly was, I think, an acid test for lots of business and lots of companies asking them questions about what their core was. Our investors, so the BauPost Group and Goldfinch Partners, saw really an opportunity looking at this business that was part of Western Union and was big enough to be a really interesting investment, but small enough from a Western Union perspective that it may not have been necessarily the top priority for investments. And we came to an agreement with Western Union to acquire this business for us on the thesis of this is a successful business. And by modernizing the product, the plants, and some of the way we conduct business, we're really going to unshackle it and really accelerate growth because we are operating in a market that has seminal tailwinds. Global commerce is not going down. Notwithstanding COVID, notwithstanding geopolitical pressures, global commerce continues to increase. It's changing in nature, but it's continuing to increase. And when it comes to business payments, there has been a lag in terms of innovation compared to consumer payments. So I've been in payments for 30 years. And for the majority of that, I've been working on how do we modernize consumer payments, as in going from paper to card to electronic to mobile to wallets, etc. In that same period of time, you haven't had that much modernization for commercial payments. And a few years ago, I started to have the deep conviction that there was an opportunity there. And it really was the aha moment was both a conversation with a friend of mine at McKinsey and starting to realize that we were seeing businesses use Amazon Pay to do payments online. And Amazon Pay was deemed as a consumer product. And so seeing businesses using what was a consumer product for their own purpose really was a signal for me that there was an opportunity to really modernize the way companies pay. And that sort of led to a meeting of the mind with our investors about, yes, Western Union Business Solution is an opportunity. It's a diamond in the rough, and we can take a good business and make it into a great business by really modernizing the way we serve our customers.
Patrick, from a pure tech perspective, I know you're keen on tech, but following the acquisition of Western Union of Travelex and Custom House previously, in 2021, how did the stack look like, the tech stack?
At the basic, the tech that we've acquired was tech that was working on-premise. It was a series of separate applications. And what we've embarked on is a move to the cloud. We've just announced that we've totally migrated our set of stacks to AWS. A re-architecting to be truly cloud and API native to leverage the vibrancy of the cloud ecosystem. And then move from an approach that was very application-driven to a platform-driven approach. A platform-driven approach gives us several fundamental benefits. The first one, a much cleaner view and holistic approach to the way we manage data. Our business produces massive amounts of data that can be very useful to better serve our customers, for instance, for risk management, but also to give our customers a better understanding of their flows of payments and therefore to help them better manage their business. So a sound strategy around data is important. Second, from a platform standpoint, what a platform allows us is give us a lot of agility in terms of both adding new payment methods, connecting to new rails, as well as supporting new use cases. And then the third thing, as I said, is it allows us to really tap into an ecosystem, a cloud ecosystem, which then allows us to innovate on behalf of our customers working with others. Case in point, our decision to go with Temenos on the way we're going to process payment because they have a payment engine which is second to none.
Mm-hmm. So, and the transformation exercise is finalized, or you're still ongoing?
Oh, this is a multi-year, multi-hundreds of millions of dollars of investment. So we started last year.
Yeah.
The first thing we did was to move evidently from the Western Union data center to the cloud. This is more than just a lift and shift. In the process, we've actually already started to re-engineer some of the way that we approach the business. I'll give you a very practical example. Part of our business is payment. Part of our business is hedging solutions, options. Regulators require, as part of the licenses we have for hedging, that the interaction with customers be tracked. So we have to record, for instance, every call that we have in order to be able to audit transactions, backtrack them, and so on. Mm-hmm. Well, we took the solution that was basically 19 contracts with telecom providers in the different countries we operate, and we moved that to the cloud. First benefit of that, not having to negotiate 19 contracts with telcos, which I defy anybody to do it in less than a lifetime. But secondly, it was really enabling us now to have access to modern tech on how to deal with voice. So voice to text, which enhances the ability to do both audit trails, to record what we need to record for regulatory purpose. But it also allows us to better understand. You can do really text analysis, sentiment analysis to really understand what matters to our customers to help evolve our products. And all of that in a way that is integrated into our solution. Mm-hmm. So here's where we didn't just move the stacks that we had to the cloud. We also looked immediately for, when we moved to the cloud, for opportunities to actually enhance the solution. Beyond that, we are rewriting all of our applications, as I said, to move from a series of applications to a platform that has use cases that leverage that common set of primitives.
Huge exercise.
Yes,
impressive.
It is.
Yeah,
it is. But that's kind of why we saw the opportunity. So it's not if it was cheap and easy, it would have already been done, right? There's definitely a really important transformation here. But in great part, if you look at my background, I believe in the power of platforms. I believe in the power of really investing in technology because first of all, our customers expect that. We can provide a better experience to our customers. More importantly, you get far more agility. Mm-hmm. And in this day and age, especially in our business, like if you think of the world we're in, it's kind of chaotic right now. And so the ability to adapt fast with the solution that we provide to our customers to the changing nature of what's going on around us is a success factor for the long term. Mm-hmm. And so that's part, a great part of why we're going at this with significant conviction.
And did it have any impact on the strategy? Because when you transform entirely a platform like this, you use, of course, cloud outsourcing, for instance. So I guess some countries make more sense than others. You have a simplification of the regulatory licenses. Can you say a few words about this? Because, to be honest, I had a discussion with the CEO of a huge payment fintech that was acquired by a huge PE firm. And when I heard all the licenses the company had in several countries, that really didn't make sense. So I guess there is also a simplification exercise on your side that happened.
Well, let me first, to answer your question, I need to make sure everybody understands our footprint, right? So we operate in 22 countries. We basically have clients everywhere around the world in 200 countries and territories. We transact in 140 currencies. So we're truly global. Our business is, as I said, both payment and hedging. So we have to have licenses for payment, PSD license in Europe, and we have to have investment license to support the hedging business, MiFID, for instance, in Europe. So we have, to support our business, relationship with 80 regulators around the world. 76 separate licenses, and then with some regulators that piggyback on other licenses, sort of just relationship with them. In Europe, we decided to headquarter our European business in Luxembourg and applied to 2 licenses, payment and MiFID in Luxembourg, and passported that in 7 other countries across Europe. Right. So that's the backdrop. So there's definitely, the good news in terms of the transformation of the tech stack is we're not the first one to put payments on the cloud. And so there is a track record and I think an understanding of the regulators of what is important. And so certainly, we have certain parts of the world that have more stringent requirements on, let's say, privacy and protection of data. Europe is certainly an area, I would say, that is at the forefront of the privacy discussion. You have certain parts of the world that are very sensitive to data location and data sovereignty. For instance, there's some of that happens in Japan. A lot of it happens in India. We have a business in Japan. We don't have a business in India per se, as in we don't have really a commercial processing. We support students in India. But in B2B, we do not have any in India. So you definitely have to adapt your technological approach to some of the requirements of the local regulator. Having said that, when I think of what the cloud allows us to do, I think we are able to much better meet the requirements of regulators as long as we can clearly help them understand how our outsourcing happens, how do we manage processing, how do we manage data flows, and more importantly, money flows. But I'll give you a practical example. The stack we operate, we did just over last weekend a test of a failover for disaster recovery, and this is what an environment like AWS allows us to do, because you have these various regions that operate from a technical standpoint independently, but at the same time allow you to really move data and activate applications, because it's part of the fabric that we're built upon, right? And if we'd had to do that on our own, like put a data center in Europe and a data center in the US, it would have been massively more complex, more expensive, and take more time. And so I think the moving to the cloud actually, and it's important, obviously, that we engage the regulators and explain why and how we do it. But moving to the cloud allows us to actually be much closer to the preoccupation of the regulators, who I consider, I believe the relationship with regulators is an important asset for a business, because ultimately a well-regulated environment is one where customers are better protected. Look at what happened in crypto, in the Wild West of crypto. Few people and a few companies imploded. A few people played a little bit loose with the law and the regulators because of a lack, I think, of clear guidelines. So for us, sometimes it can be complex to execute regulation. I think the entire migration to PSD2 in Europe was an example. But the end game is one where you have greater clarity on how to operate and how to adapt to the risk associated with payments, and how to better protect our customers. And in that, it's like our focus and that of the regulators are exactly the same.
Yeah. So you mentioned a few interesting figures. You operate in 22 countries. You have clients in 200 countries, if I heard correctly, and you access 140 currencies. So that's quite amazing. So what strategies do you attribute to Convera's success in establishing such an extensive global presence and success?
Well, I mean, some of it was deliberate. Pre-Convera was deliberate on the part of Western Union and drove a number of acquisitions that they did 15 years ago. Now with Convera, what we saw when we decided to pursue the acquisition, what we saw is deep know-how across the company, across the globe, understanding how to address on behalf of customers the complexity of those global payments. And an example of kind of this deep know-how is in the area of compliance management. So this is ingrained in everything we do, and it's super important. We were talking about regulatory compliance a moment ago, but let me give you a very practical example. February 22nd, 2022, and then February 24th, when the invasion occurred in Ukraine, within a matter of hours, we had to help our clients deal with sanctions. And in some cases, undo positions that were now with sanctioned entities in Russia, and undo business that was carried in rubles and so on. And we were able to do that literally in a matter of hours. Why? Because we had a methodology in place and a set of systems in place and a deep understanding of what is required to do this. not just to protect our business, but to protect the business of our customers. And if our customers were even inadvertently operating and doing business with a sanctioned entity, then they'd be in trouble. So it's part of our job is to keep them safe in a situation like this. So this deep know-how, we thought, okay, we can build on this really in terms of the evolution of the services we offer and the way we offer them. So the technological evolution. I would say that the additional aspect of this is, so we operate across a number of industries, right? So we support payments to universities from students studying abroad. We also support payments from these universities when they provide, for their teachers abroad or they buy equipment or whatever. We support industries as varied as nonprofit, travel, consumer manufacturing, global digital services, legal payments, like, for instance, intellectual property. We have a very strong part of our business, which is financial institutions who are too small to themselves be able to support a business of this complexity, but yet big enough to have clients who have those needs. And so working through those financial institutions, we're able to offer to their clients, to their commercial clients, the services that allows those SMEs often to go global. And so this breadth of vertical industries, first of all, gives us a very holistic understanding of what is necessary to actually enable those people to grow globally with confidence. The language of each of these industries may be different. In a university, you don't talk about a CFO and a treasurer. You talk about a bursar and a registrar. But they still have similar preoccupation. Can you make these payments simple? Can you make it such that the customer, in this case, the student, who's making one of the biggest payments they would have done up to that point in their life, can they do that with confidence? Is the same if you're an importer-exporter. Remember, one of the first client that I met was a North American company that does import-export of tropical fruits. So they get fruits from the tropics and then move them to US and Canada. For them, being able to know that they wouldn't have to worry about payment, allow them to worry about transportation. Because as you know, logistics chain have been a little bit disrupted over the last few years. And when you're dealing with perishables, transportation is a critical component of success of your business. So we were taking away the complexity. We were dealing on their behalf, the complexity of payments that allow them to concentrate on adapting to something that was absolutely crucial to their business in a way that allowed them to still thrive. Mm-hmm. And so this breadth of businesses, this breadth of verticals and breadth of geographies allows us to have really a holistic approach to this. And I think as a consequence, build solutions that are more attuned to the need of the clients and more sophisticated. And I think as we modernize the technology, will absolutely be much more adaptable. Again, in a world where things are changing very fast right now, really are.
Yeah, clearly. And you have the emergence of bigger and bigger players. You were mentioning PayPal, of course, but there is also Wise, there is also IBAN First, and many other players like this. So, in your opinion, what is your USP compared to those emerging players?
Well, so first of all, I think the universe of the business is just broad enough to feed many mouths. We estimate we operate in a fee universe of about $55 billion. So that allows more than one company to live for sure and to be successful for sure. What is unique, I think, with Convera is, as I said, the know-how, the breadth of currency. So breadth of currency is something easy to overlook, but think about it this way. The majority of commerce does operate in G10 currency, right? And pretty much everybody can do G10 currencies. However, more often than not, many of our clients have a need to operate in countries that are what we refer to as exotic currencies. Mm-hmm. Very practical example of what's happening right now. Cost of manufacturing in China has increased as living standards have increased, and geopolitical tension with China have increased as well. As a consequence, you see a lot of people who had delocalized their production in China who are now looking for different places to have production. For instance, in Southeast Asia, we're seeing a lot of demand associated with Southeast Asia. Other example, the war in Ukraine has clearly redefined where Western European countries and companies would go, not just for energy, but also for a range of raw materials. And the areas where some of those corridors have shifted to have been towards Africa, Canada, and Australia. Africa, once again, major areas of exotic currencies. So our knowledge on how to deal with currencies globally and how to assist our clients in moving their business to countries or with relationship that are maybe not as mature as the one they had before when they operated in G10 countries is an example of how this deep knowledge that we have and the breadth of the network that we have allows us to serve our clients better. Mm-hmm. Our customers consistently tell us that our service to them is second to none. Often our clients, many of the clients I've talked to will say, you give me the service that I wish my bank would give me, but I'm not big enough for my banks to treat me with the nuance and the attention that you are. Mm-hmm. And in truth, most of our customers are big enough to want to go global, but small enough that they represent for a traditional large financial institution not a very interesting client. So we serve businesses anywhere, let's say, between 10 million in revenue to 5 billion in revenue. Mm-hmm. And this may appear to be a pretty broad range, but the truth is all of them have this characteristic of having either a business model and or ambitions to go into more than one country, to have some global nature, as well as needs that are relatively sophisticated in terms of their foreign payments and exchanges, and needs that they cannot find easily fulfilled with banks, for whom they fall in a category where they would have pretty much plain vanilla products. Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned two, I would say, major product categories. So in payments and in FX, in Forex. And we all know that, Forex markets are highly volatile. So what is your risk management approach to work towards foreign exchange? And how do you concretely organize this? Because it's quite amazing to have so many currencies with very exotic currencies to manage. Can you say a bit of details and share with us some details about the risk management approach?
Yeah, sure. Let me again anchor ourselves into the product that we support, right? So we support spot payments, domestic, same currency, domestic as well as cross-border, same. But we also support spot payment in FX and then option and hedging products. The most simple hedging product to understand is a forward, where basically somebody tells us, I want to pay a bill in 9 months, but I want to know what the FX is going to be in that bill in 9 months. So I want to say volatility is our friend. If foreign exchange rates were predictable over time, our business would just be about spot payments, and it would be more of a utility than what we're able to do. Because FX is not fixed in time. As a matter of fact, if you think of in 2022 was an insane year in so many ways. Usually, historically, FX rates, like in major currencies, have fluctuated within about a 5 to 7% range. In 2022, it was closer to 25% range. Think of the way the British pound, for instance, started 2022 at $1.35. By September, was at parity, and by now is back to about 120, 125. Those are massive changes. Japanese yen to US dollar. The Japanese yen has depreciated by over 35% in the course of 18 months. Right? Those are shocks for many companies that they cannot absorb. If even if you do 35% margin, if what you supply externally, the cost of it is increased by 35%, your margin evaporates. Mm-hmm. It forces company to really figure out how to manage that risk. So we're in the business of helping them do that. And And we have both from an assistance to our client, we have people who are specialized in this. They're called hedging managers who are trained, licensed to understand from simple to complex products and really to accompany the client in understanding what they're trying to solve for, and therefore really make sure we have the solution for them. We also have, indeed, a pretty exhaustive risk management function. And here it's more to assess our risk in the business and therefore how much we can lean in, lean back. This is a business historically that actually has had very low credit losses because of a fairly thorough approach to how we engage with our clients, which includes, we do not want our clients to overextend themselves. If it's bad for them, it's not going to be good for us and vice versa. So we're very keen on building what is the right set of solution for them, both in terms of hedging products as well as in terms of just spot solution, so that economically it's a sustainable relationship between the two over an extended period of time. There's no benefit to anyone if our clients, are in trouble on a recurring basis. Our business is to keep them out of trouble so that they can grow with confidence.
Okay, so how do you plan to sustain this impressive growth strategy?
A lot of it is this is the interesting thing about this business. We don't have to defy the laws of physics. We just have to basically conduct the evolution of our technical replatforming. We're introducing a lot of modern tools in the company across the board, from the way we manage HR to the way we manage sales. We have totally already transformed our marketing stack. If you watch what is happening, for instance, this week at Money 2020 in the US, you would see how we're really focusing on developing high quality content that help educate our customers. And that allows us to really then get customers coming to us. They're self-selected. We can make sure we understand them better and be much more efficient from a sales standpoint. It's the basis of modern digital marketing, which we've injected into this company. We're evolving the way we manage our operation, again, with better tools, better automation. I'm a big believer in automation. And then through the partnerships we're going to strike, we already starting to and continue to, we're going to really evolve towards a greater sort of ecosystem-driven solution so that our clients have more complete approach. Because aside from all of the changes happening around the world, like those very seminal changes in macroeconomics. Just remember, right? For 20 years, we've had almost 0% interest rates, very, very aligned monetary policies between countries. That is no longer the case. Interest rates and monetary policies are divergent. You do not have an inflation problem in China or in Japan. You have one in Western countries. So monetary policies are divergent. Commerce corridors are reorganizing. We're going from a period of relative stability to a period of instability. We help our clients through that. But beyond that, another macro trend that has been happening, thanks to Indeed Cloud, is the democratization of modern tools to manage companies. And so this is why it's so important for me that we have technical solution that allows us to integrate with the Concurs of the world, for instance, who's a really important partner for us, to have a better, complete solution for the clients that we both serve.
Wow, good luck.
No luck involved. Hard work and lots of conviction.
Clearly.
And definitely where we are and will continue to have fun. So,
Patrick, I conclude with a book recommendation. I'm a bookworm, so it's for me. So what book would you recommend today?
What book would I recommend? Well, there's a book that I go back frequently to and that I often use internally, and it's Jim Collins' Good to Great. And it's not a recent book, but I think it's one of those books that has really a lot of staying power. I think there's a tremendous amount of wisdom in that book, and one in particular of the key concepts that I use often with my team is the Stockdale paradox about if you are brutally honest about the difficulties you're managing today, but you're also genuinely convinced about the better future you can create, then the universe is your oyster.
Thank you very much, Patrick.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. Cheers.
Bye. Thank you all for listening and sharing this moment with us. Don't hesitate to contact me on Twitter or LinkedIn to share your comments and reactions. You can also rate this episode on your favorite podcast platform. See you soon.